All right. Let's see if people can hear us. I guess it'll take a second to switch over, but yeah. So, hey everybody. Welcome to this here extra live stream that we're gonna do. I'm Zach, and joining me we've got Julie and Jordan. Hey y'all.
Hello. Yay.
I'm really excited about this. I haven't gotten to do a ton of game streaming before. I've done it a little bit here and there, but it hasn't been. It looks like the video isn't on there. Hold on.
No, like, wait. Does he mean the game itself?
Yeah,
or...
on the
The game is it's broadcasting. I'm watching the stream at the moment.
Oh, are you?
Broadcasting
Okay.
the game.
It must not have gone for me yet. Okay, I must just be behind. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah. So I haven't done a ton of game streaming, as might be obvious, but I have tried to do some gaming stuff with Joel, and I've learned I'm not especially good at talking while playing video games. And what I want to do here is try to go over a little bit of kind of an impromptu let me tell you about for Mortal Kombat, which is going to be really hard for me to do because, again, I'm not good at doing two things at once. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, so like I guess just a little bit before we get started about like my love of this series. I love really big, colorful shit. This should be pretty obvious, like to people. And by colorful, I mean both literal and figurative. I just like stuff that's like, you know, good guys, bad guys, fighting.
Tightly colored.
Tightly colored.
Zach,
yes.
how do you feel about pinwheels?
Pinwheels are good. I mean, I also listen.
What about kaleidoscopes?
I like kites. Kites are fun.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But what I mean by that is like it should be kind of obvious. Some of my favorite things are Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, and Power Rangers. Like there might be a little bit of a theme there. I like wacky shit that's also kind of awesome at the same time, and it helps if you've got these big, broadly defined characters who are fun to watch and root for. And I think Mortal Kombat has a lot of that stuff. As we get into it, we'll see that probably more than Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, Mortal Kombat is definitely a problematic fave for me. Which, Julie, like, I was going to talk about this anyway, but, I mean, this is a good opportunity to talk about some of the problems in Mortal Kombat, I think.
Sure. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's get into it a little bit.
I mean, I'm just gonna lay out. I honestly consider Power Rangers to be a problematic fave.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, it is. Yeah, for sure. If for no other, like, even if everything was executed perfectly, its existence and direction by Saban. Oh, I did continue instead of start over.
Sonya, get out of there!
That guy's name is Johnny Cage. Spoilers. Hold on. Anyway, so yeah, I mean. Power Rangers is also a problematic fave. I mean, there's sort of the obvious like appropriation stuff, but there's also the fact that from a production standpoint, Saban is kind of terrible. Like he doesn't treat his employees well. He doesn't treat the source material very well. Like, and I say he. I know there's lots of people involved, but yeah, I agree. That's also a problematic fave. I don't think it's quite as
Millions of years ago,
stream's a little choppy.
Elder gods
Yeah, it's not as
turned on
egregious, I don't
fellow
think,
deities and invaded
and it's
the
also
earth.
not as well, it's not as
Raiden
openly
and the Elder
racist.
gods
I
stopped
guess
Shinnok.
there's some problems, like for sure.
Well,
Early Power Rangers for sure. Yes.
Others followed in Shinnok's
I'm gonna close.
Power Rangers
Like Outworld's Emperor
Samurai.
Shao.
Oh yeah, yep.
Who's
You know
obsessed
what?
with
I forgot.
conquering
Yes, I try to forget about Power Ranger Samurai as much as
So
possible, but you
Raiden
can't always
convinced the
do
Elder
that.
Gods to enact the Mortal Kombat tournament. As a
So
way
yeah,
to
you're
defy
right. You know,
odds.
you're right. That's a
Give
good point.
Earthrealm
So
a
anyway,
chance.
the thing about
generations
Mortal Kombat
Shao
is
Kahn
that
followed
it
the
is
Elder Gods
trying to
onwards.
do
The
something
war moved to
that
the
a lot
arena,
of
where he sent his toughest fighters. to
there
challenge
is
Raiden's
a
greatest
nostalgia
defenders
for
in Mortal Kombat.
exploitation films.
2 years ago,
You know that
we beat
that's exploited by a lot of different people. That's exploited by
Shao Kahn was a
Quentin
great
Tarantino, famously.
He
and
violated the rules of Mortal
They
Kombat and invaded
the people who
Earth
make
realm.
Mortal Kombat very clearly love like exploitation
Most
kung
of
fu
Earth's
movies.
defenders
That is the base
killed.
that it comes from.
turned into
And
evil undead warriors.
there are good, fun things about that, like my aforementioned
Despite
love
the
of
odds,
big, colorful characters.
stop
And
Shao
then
Kahn's
there's the
invasion.
other stuff, which, like, yeah, listen, Raiden
punishment.
is a dude in a.
The Elder Gods
Like, okay, there's no way around it. It's not great. And also, you know,
We thought the long nightmare was over.
portrayals.
Go on.
What?
Been manipulated.
You're just gonna let me twist, aren't you?
Shao Kahn's invasion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
no,
fine.
I'm letting you explain
All
it from
part
your
of Shinnok's
perspective
plan
because you're
to escape
also
the
more of an
Netherrealm
expert
and
in the
resume
lore
the
and the
rule
actual
of
history.
the
So
Elder
Yeah, so
you
so what I'll
should
say
actually get that.
what I'll say is that this all the stuff that they pull from is very, very clearly based on various Eastern mythologies. Also, it looks like the stream is like straight up cutting out, which is not good.
I'm not having any trouble at the moment myself.
Oh, you're not? Okay. As long as you're okay.
No, it's still just playing the cinematic, and it's like very little like chopping. It's not
Okay.
too bad.
Okay. As long as it's not terrible, because I
You know,
don't.
I'll tell you if it like straight up cuts out like extended periods or if it's really bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure
And
out
that'll-
if there's any.
That can also just be an internet connection thing. Like,
Right. I'm trying to make sure I don't have anything open that would be eating bandwidth that I don't need.
oh no.
Okay.
I'll say at the moment, for you streaming at the moment, like with the just home setup, like rely on others to tell you because at the
Okay.
moment you might not have the clarification.
Okay.
Twitch is kind of weird like that.
Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, the game is, or the mythology of the game pulls a lot from various Eastern mythologies. It's not just Chinese. It's and you know, it's not one thing. They amalgamate everything, which is a problem in itself. Because you get these gods where it's like Raiden's an Asian god, which is not helpful. Like that's not good. What they do is that it has the benefit of having been around long enough that and this is one of the other things I like about Mortal Kombat, and it's something I like about Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. All these things have these insane worlds because they've been around for so long. Mortal Kombat has like a full cosmology that also pulls from like Norse mythology. You have different realms. You've got, you know, like your Earth gods, which are all pulled from the Eastern mythologies, and then you have various other realms that are based on other mythologies, and then you have like an overarching like cosmology of the fact that like how Mortal Kombat, all the realms happen is there was a being that the Elder Gods murdered and split into different fucking pieces, and those are the realms, and that being tries to influence Shao Kahn to merge them again so he can come back together. All that shit is insane. And it's because it's been around for so long that it's kind of become its own thing. That doesn't excuse the bad parts, but it does mean that I can kind of look at it as like, oh, this is the Mortal Kombat mythology, not this is this shit they pulled from a bunch of other different cultures. Now, again, doesn't excuse it, but it does mean that I don't know, I can look past it a little bit better. That line's going to be different for everyone. Also, just in case you have not played this game before, this is 10 years after basically all the shit that happened in the first 3 Mortal Kombats, and like half the people are dead. If you see these dudes that have the little like lines on them, that's because they're zombies. They're murder zombies, and they're trying to kill Johnny Cage, which we don't want.
Oh, great, cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of problems with Mortal Kombat. Fuck. One problem is I'm bad at pushing buttons. That's going to be a problem as we move forward.
I also just want to say, yeah, Scorpion inside of a helicopter view is the worst place to have Scorpion with you.
Yeah, that's not great.
Except unless he's in your boot.
Yeah. So the, you know, I think, you know, if Jules, if you've got stuff to say about it, I would like to hear it. But I wanted to get that out of the way early, that I am in no way under some impression that Mortal Kombat is devoid of issues. So, I don't know. I just wanted to get that out of the way early before I get into, like, praising it a bunch, to make sure,
Right, yeah.
that that's clear. But yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
My usual stance on, like, whenever you are referencing or building off of, like, exploitation films as a genre, I want there to be something to be said.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think, for the most part, in, like, because, to be completely honest, Tarantino is incredibly problematic in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in and out of his films. But essentially, at least his movies have something to say about that, and it's not even just subversion, it's just laying out everything in a straight-faced manner and making you go, that's actually kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and I
like, even
go ahead.
something as simple as that.
And I think that,
But also, like, things like Luke Cage and Black Panther are also really good about that.
oh yeah, Luke Cage is extremely good about that stuff. Like,
But also, a lot of that comes from it, like, having black creators involved in the
Yeah.
works.
yeah, and
Same thing with Black Dynamite as well. Black Dynamite's a fucking masterpiece of, like, how you actually make a good, like, riff on exploitation movies.
what's up,
I
Jordan?
was gonna say, do you mean the actual Black Dynamite film or the cartoon that they did afterward?
The movie.
I mean the film. I mean
Yeah.
the film itself.
Okay,
yeah,
because I'm still.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just trying. It's been a while since I've seen the cartoon. I know Ian J worked on it and a couple other things, and it looked like they were very much trying to keep in the same kind of flavor and kind of mirror like looking at it kind of thing that the movie was.
I haven't seen the cartoon at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't know a lot of people who have seen it, so I can't. And I really don't have a good basis of experience to say like, oh, they did a good job, or they tried but they didn't make it, or what. So
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think and I do want to talk a little bit about Ed Boon later, maybe, but I'm not sure that it has something to say necessarily about like the art form of exploitation films, but what it does have is actually, Jules, we were talking a bunch about
That was unpleasantly cold.
Fast and Furious earlier, off mic, and one of the things that Fast and Furious does is that it is so much more than like it should be, based on when you put all the things in an equation, like more than the sum of its parts. You start with something that's like, I mean, it's super goofy, it's really paper thin, and at some point you're like, wait, I like these characters, when did that happen? And I think this has that a lot. Like, I've been following these games for a while, and maybe at some point I can talk about like the Dark Middle chapter, but the game before this, Mortal Kombat 9, it basically did like a Star Trek film series soft reboot, where it was like, yeah, all this stuff happened, but this is like the new timeline. And they did a really good job with certain characters, like setting them up and making you actually give a shit about them. But then this one, like Johnny Cage's whole thing is he's a fucking moron. Like, he's an idiot. But at some point you're like, oh, but he's a really, really big idiot who like actually wants to do good and doesn't run away. And that's not like a character, like, you know, a groundbreaking character or anything, but it's something that I can really root for. and I think that it gets away with a lot on the strength of some of its writing, and also on the strength of its character writing, and also on its like world building, which is not always super evident in the games. But if you they do so much more fucking work with their world building than they ever have to. Like down to like how Outworld's con-based like politics work, and I don't know. I think it becomes more than it should be. Now whether it actually uses like the exploitation stuff to say anything, it really likes when.
I'll also say this: does it use any of the world building to say anything?
When we fought on the same side.
You know, I'm not sure. I think it one thing it does that I don't know is like a big grand statement. Especially in this game, is like so we're part of the the government of the Earth realm. That's who
Right.
Johnny Cage and all the Sony work for and stuff. And at the beginning,
the normies of the combat.
Right, and at the beginning, it's like, we're the good guys, and because we're the humans. And we go to Earthrealm, and they're all, you know, fucked up, or not Earthrealm. We go to Outworld, and they're all fucked up, and jerks, and all that stuff. And then at some point, it's like, oh no, wait, we're all infighting assholes. Now, I don't know if that's like a big grand statement, but it does like set you up to go, the others are the bad guys, and then at some point it's like, nah, pretty much everyone's dicks. And also there's good guys from Outworld as well. So I don't know. You could maybe say it's saying something about like, it doesn't matter where you're from, you know, good people come from anywhere, but that could also just be me pulling, you know, looking too much. I couldn't tell you.
It's also the case where I get what you're saying, but also, like, everyone's dicks is kind of let's be honest, a bit of a centrist standpoint.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I guess I more mean dicks can come from anywhere. Not everyone is dicks, which are different things. But yeah, you're
True.
That's true. No, you're not wrong. I don't know.
That still allows some real, like,
Sure.
backdoor reasoning, unfortunately, which is not, like, necessarily their fault, but...
Yeah.
You have to be cognizant of that.
Oh, sure. I will say that it is something that is tailor-made for me in that it has this huge world that, like, my brain just likes to learn stuff about fictional places and worlds. It's why I want to know about the morphing grid, even though the show, like, doesn't want to tell me anything about the morphing grid.
Because they don't know anything about the
right,
fucking
exactly.
Grid, so...
But that's the thing is that yes, Jordan.
I'm just gonna say I'm right with you with like learning the stupid fictional things. It's always a very very fine line when I start watching something new. Then I'm like 5 minutes and it's like, what does the wiki have to say about it? And I'm researching like all these plot lines and like, oh my god, like his brother is and so it's like.
Yeah, no,
It is a problem.
It's something I really enjoy, so it has that. And again, I like the characters. I guess I would say I'm not sure how much worth Mortal Kombat has as like an art piece that is trying to say anything, but I do find it enjoy. Also, hey, remember cultural appropriation? It's up, Nightwolf.
Yeah?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know where we are on the stream. I think I'm a little, anyway.
Basically, Ryan and some other dude are fighting as
Okay,
necromancer dude, I don't know.
okay, that's fine. Nightwolf is about to show up, and that's not, you don't want that. So,
No.
yeah, so, I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I necessarily think it has a ton to say, but I do think that it has really strong character writing and a really interesting world building. And honestly, for me, that's something I really like. That doesn't excuse any of the stuff, and that's why, again, that's why it's a problematic game. So,
No, yeah, I totally get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, everyone's got them. That's fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other stuff to say. One of the things that I
People in the chat are telling Eric to get that loop of you saying Dixon from anywhere.
That's fair. So yeah, we've got Johnny Cage fighting a bunch of undead people because Quan Chi is an evil sorcerer from the Nether Realm, I think. Nether Realm, yeah, and he's summoned a bunch of dead heroes to do his bidding to try to resurrect one of the corrupted elder gods, Shinnok, because there's just always a bigger fish in Mortal Kombat, much like in Dragon Ball Z. There's always a bigger bad guy.
There's always another layer of ties.
Yes. So, one of the other things that's kind of interesting about this to me is that I was looking up some stuff earlier about Ed Boon, who I don't know a ton about, but I've seen a fair number of interviews with him talking about, like, creating the series and the mythology and stuff like that. And, so, you know, Mortal Kombat started in 91, I think? And,
I mean, I've got the Wikipedia page open. Give me one moment.
yeah,
92.
92. So it was Ed Boon and Tobias. Oh, I can't remember the other guy's name. The two dudes who really started it.
Billy?
Oh, 1 second. John Tobias. It was Ed Boon, John Tobias, John Vogel, and Dan Forden.
There you go. Thank you. And some stuff I've read with Ed Boon where he's like trying to figure out, like, okay, so we've got kind of our basic idea, and we do want to use some stuff from Eastern mythology since this is all based on Kung Fu movies. Well, what can we do? And basically, from what I understand, he was sitting, it was these four dudes, like, in a library just pulling any books that they could find about like
We're gonna fix you someday.
Eastern mythology and, you know, ninjas and literally whatever they could find, and like kind of plugging it into stuff, because at the time it wasn't like they could go,
Wow.
you know, onto the
Seeing that
internet
again.
and Wikipedia this stuff. And one of the things that happened,
It's not him.
are people still saying it's not working?
It's buffering a lot now. Like it's starting to buffer more and more as we go along.
Okay. Let me see.
We'll see, because it evens out for me at least, and then doesn't have a problem for a
That
bit.
the elevator?
Let me see if there's
Yes.
anything I can do
The
in
elevator.
terms of
Sento contains the
Streaming
souls of my
settings.
ancestors. They guide me.
It could also be that folks might just need to lower their own streaming settings as well.
yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure it out. This is, again, something I haven't done a ton of. Apologies. So one of the things that happened, and I just found this out today. I'd never known this before. Is Sub-Zero's clan in this is called the Lin Kuei. And apparently Ed Boon got that from a book. Or a series of books that he found in the
stay
library
here. Close
called
the door.
like The Secrets of the Lin Kuei by a guy named Lee Hsing Sing, I guess. And
Leasing.
Lee Sing, and it's all about this secret, basically clan of Chinese ninjas, which is, from what I understand, not a thing.
Careful with it.
Yeah. So, so he was like, "Oh, cool. Then we can have, you know, Scorpion, who's his rival, be from a rival Japanese clan, and it'll be like a dichotomy thing." The thing is that apparently, like decades later, Ed Boon found out that those books were written by a white dude named like Robbie Brown or something like that, who was just straight up a con artist. And he had made it up, and then later was making essentially different books about his other secret ninja techniques that he had learned from, I believe he said Comanche ninjas. at some point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Ed Boon put out a statement, I'll see if I can't find it, like a couple years ago that was like, hey, I tried to do some research and use something that was based in some kind of historical fact, and, whoops!
I'm not gonna lie, that research sounds like, this book sounds cool.
Yeah, no, totally. I
That's
mean,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
That's not, I'm gonna, like, listen, no beef to Ed Boon. That's not research.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I appreciate that he came, because I probably would never have even heard of that. But I appreciate he mentioned it. But yeah, no, that's not great. But so, like, a lot of the stuff that I think made it into the mythology is stuff where, I don't know, where they tried to get this stuff together and succeeded and failed in different measures. And you know, it's 4 dudes trying to fucking put together a mythology in the early 90s without Wikipedia. And there you go. I guess that's what happened. And it's built since that, and I think a lot of the stuff they've done more recently is really interesting. But the base that it's built on, I see why there's some problems sometimes.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. It's not Quan Chi.
And all of Earthrealm.
Oh, Quan Chi's bad. Yeah, I hate Quan Chi.
No, but I'm just gonna say, it's not that. It's Quan Chi.